I thought you were going to wear your Red Wings.
Can't wear them my eggs round, you kind of feel like Forrest Gump with the sort of like that. I got a lot to thank my dad for, like, getting brought up in the workshop. And my dad was building cars for other people and all and stuff, so you pick up a lot of stuff that you don't think you're picking up. I probably don't even think I would have been a fabricator if it wasn't for that, like, because you can't race a car if you can't weld, like.
What do you think you'd be doing if you hadn't have got into Speedway when your dad got you into it?
Probably be in fucking jail by now.
What does your mom call you?
Can't you see that? Judge.
Tell me, Juan.
Oh, I look tiny, you Get us a fucking stool.
What's up, guys? This is John from Bennett's Customs. This is sort of a first part series that we're doing and kind of, you know, going around to all of our really close friends' places and acquaintances as well. And we're just kind of going through the workshop, seeing what cool projects they're up to and creative things they're doing. To my right, we got the Scotsman, or Wayne, or Wynn, or the Mad Scotsman, whatever you know him as. But we are at... We got Bob here. Bob's surprisingly, he's still alive. Bob's very old. But how is he? 16.
16. He's got about a week left.
But we are at GWM Steel Fabrication, and in here at Wayne's shop, he does everything and all from very amazing designer furniture to building the most craziest, like early traditional, what would you call them, race cars and everything in between. Die-hard Speedway enthusiast. He likes his small British bikes. Basically, we're here. We want to show you guys around his shop and show, you know, some past projects, some neglected projects.
Neglected projects.
I'm really emphasizing the
projects like
some ones that I'm emphasizing in the corner that we will see soon, and a new up-and-coming project that he's working on, and hopefully we might even see him swing a torch or bend some steel with his pipes of his. Yeah. Bending steel with sex appeal.
How can it like me, Daddy?
All right, let's get into it. So, tell me what your regular day job would be. What's a 9 to 5 look like in your day? You're more of like
9 to 5, 12 to 4.
12 to 4.
God, that's it.
So you usually predominantly are
one-off furniture, really. But I work a lot with interior designers. So basically, they come up with the idea, and you have to make it like any job that I find interesting. I'll take it on. It can vary from brass to leather to stone.
And brass would be kind of one of your favorite materials to work with. That.
Like I always think sometimes when you make something in the shop, because it's an industrial surrounding, you really need to put it into a house so it softens it up a wee bit. Like
yeah, for sure.
Not to sound like a w***er, but you get what I mean.
No, totally.
You've got to have all this soft.
I mean, that right now in here looks like it's part of the workshop, right?
But put it into like a high-end house, and it totally changes. But you have to basically make something that nobody else has got. Like that's
true.
That's what you have to do. Like the thing is, what I say is, how long do you spend in your shop? All your life, really. Like,
every day, all day.
Aye, so you have to make it a place that you're going into, and a black shop, like a dirty black shop's.
Nah, doesn't do it for me.
Well, you just kind of get fucking motivated, I think.
You got to be inspired.
Aye.
Yeah.
So it's just like a big toy shed, really. That's what it fucking is like.
Yeah, I totally agree. Oh, it's a sticker. Yeah, so for any of you that actually watch our channel, you probably have seen this, what would you even call it? What's the name for it? Is this the humble abode for when on the road?
The big fucking Vanger Bus, like.
Yeah.
I've raced since I was 10-year-old when I started racing, like, and because we were everybody was a lot richer as us. Everybody had enclosed trailers and stuff, like, and I always wanted you, like,
Yeah.
and instead of just building an enclosed trailer, that's a square box. Could make it cool, like,
Yeah, you
so
gotta
a bit of
put your
shape
touch
and
on
that
it.
in like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, man, it beats sleeping in a swag, like, I
No
tried
doubt.
it once, like, and I thought I was in a fucking coffin, like, I did, man, I hated it, like. About a year now, and then I pulled the cover off yesterday, and I was looking at it thinking, it should really be finished. Well, it actually was finished. I raced at Perco in 2019.
19.
When I got back, I washed it and then chucked it in the corner, and it never really fucking moved again. And it ends up becoming Doncar, like stripping the starter motors and then intakes and everything off it, like so.
It's just a real
I
hot
like
rod.
them when they're a bit rough around the edges, like I do. Like
They just show character. And it shows like your style. Like you got your little tiny brass touches that you always do. You love a bit of shaping with
that's
like
it.
nickel plate.
Like the front headlight bar and all that.
Yeah,
But
that's
nobody
right.
notices all the front headlight bar and everything, like.
Yeah, I love it, eh?
And fuck you, it looks fucking tiny with him in it. Yeah.
Well, I'm fine. But just be.
Fuck, you would never suit a T. It looks like, you know, the Ed Roth models, man, with the
Even like where you have the wires coming out of the bottom of the headlights,
Yeah.
you've made these tiny little brass
That's it.
pieces that are holding the lights. Like that's the small details. That's what I love, small details. Of just
But I think only somebody that builds cars notices stuff like that.
yeah,
Do you get what I mean?
yeah.
I don't like bought stuff on a car. I like to see someone handcrafted on a car, like.
Yeah,
get
for
what I
sure.
mean? If you handcraft something, it just looks.
It's just 100% original.
It just gives
Even if if it's crafted off something, but it's still
gives it a bit of
it's
character,
yours.
a bit of soul or whatever you will call it. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about the collection of jackets you got on the wall.
No, just a bit of everything, like. That's my favourite thing at the end there. So it was the old woman that done the fucking that was her embroidery.
Yeah, right.
Trick as like just fucking sat like that, like old ding woman.
And the Ariel, his other gorgeous bike that is neglected and sitting in the corner of the shop. I've never actually heard it run either. I don't think it actually does run, does it? It's just a display bike.
It's his fast issue, baby.
Ah!
But it's overhead valve though.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a pretty special bike, like, you know what I mean? People must have been built small back in the day, like, so I stretched the frame and only an inch, but proportionally it makes a big difference, like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, massively. And you made the bars and stuff as well?
Everything.
Yeah.
This was I basically remade the whole frame, because for there back, there was nothing there. And I basically bought the top cradle and half the motor. That was what I bought. There's nothing else there. The tanks were there, but because it came out a tip, came out a farmer's tip, like,
Yeah, right.
fucking for a rare bike, why was it in the fucking tip, like, But there was a lot of stuff brought across here, but way back in the day, because it's 1927, this, like,
Yeah.
So this would have been quite an expensive bike back then, I would have thought, like.
Would you say that the colors on this bike would be your signature for everything you
No,
build?
because I bought it in a fucking midnight blue, fucking, and I didn't want to fucking chuck it out, like.
Oh, it must cover pretty good because you've used it on 3 projects already.
Oh, she's getting thin now, though.
Yeah.
I think I've run out. She's getting thin now, like.
And for a lot of people that probably don't know, you are basically the master of sandbending. I'd toot your horn a bit with that. He did the ones on the race car. He's got them on his car. He's basically had them on every single thing. And you've done pipes for a lot of the boys for Born Free.
I done the pipes on the one, did it win last year or the year before? The Triumph.
Oh, the red one. And that was sort of a ram horn style that you did on it, eh?
No, he wanted a set of pipes that ran side by side. So they both come out the right-hand side. But it was quite a hard thing to do because you have to build the pipes and then send them to the States and hope they fucking fit, like.
Yeah, true,
You know what I mean? They were taken by a 115-year-old camera. But look at the detail in them.
You can see all your gross toes.
But the dirty hanging out the mouth. I was like, hey, yeah, get that, man.
Not good there? Yeah. Maybe we come forward a bit. Under the nice light.
Put the wheels at an angle. So it's all about the angle there.
Bit fast. This was a purpose built purely for Percolili.
Yep.
And we raced last year, September.
What happened when I raced the Roadster in 2019? I thought you could be a lot faster if you wanted to. So I basically just thought, fuck it, I'll just start building another car. And I had a load of parts. Model T chassis, Model A engine. Basically just chucked it together.
Yeah, show us the motor. And quick backstory with Perco for those who don't maybe follow our channel or don't really know, but Lake Percolili is about 40 minutes outside of Kalgoorlie, which is north of us. And it is, prove me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it is Australia's oldest racetrack.
Yeah.
Look at us. Ooh, have a look at that. The real deal.
The car's based off a car that was built in the late 20s, I think, by a guy called John Gerber. So the whole thing about it is it's got an offset chassis, like the back of the car, because back in the day everybody sat on top of the drivetrain, which put them high, like.
Way too high.
So what he was a big innovator, like he thought totally outside the box, like. So he basically kicked the, instead of having two straight chassis rails and sitting up here, he basically kicked the chassis rail out there. Put a set of ecliptics on the back for the back suspension, so you then need to have a cross member and stuff, you know what I mean? And sat down there, so he got his body, or everything was low, like, which for race, like center of gravity and all that.
Yep, yep.
The original car had a Model T engine, overhead valve, I think it was, with a front arc overhead valve in it.
Yeah, the overhead valve conversions.
I dare see the point in souping up a Model T motor if you can put a Model A in it. And
Model A, yeah, put a banger in.
half the money, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
So what's the fruit that's the motor's got? I mean, obviously I can see it's got a Lions high compression head on it.
The motor was built by Gordon Tears, who's building the motor for the new race car and all. I can't speak highly enough about Gordon, like.
He's an absolute...
He's a fucking legend, like. Talk about guys thinking outside the box. Gordon is the man, like. Geez, some of the stuff that he builds, man, I've known him for years and it blows my mind even now, some of the stuff. Like, quick changes. I was on about a quick change for the new race car and he says, I'll just make him. He built a Model A engine with a Chevy head, so a Chevy overhead valve head, 1927 Chevys were the first overhead valves.
Yep.
I think. But it's no case of just bolting a head on.
No.
Offset plates and, oh man, it's a whole thing, like.
Yeah.
So Gordon built it. Man, it went like shit of a shovel for about half an hour and then blew up, but he still built it, like, I mean. So he says to me, what do you want to do to the motor? I was like, just make it fucking fast. Like, so this thing's been raced. It's had its arse kicked for how long now? 2 years?
2 years.
It's had its arse kicked at a lot of racing.
Yeah, you guys may have seen it at Saltbush Speedway.
Passing Jordan.
I think there was a clip when he spun out.
Hey!
I think it's just really neat the way you sort of look at stuff and create it. Like, that's why I'm such a big fan of your work, is because I really like to try and push the sort of the artistry of a car, not just, you know.
I think it's the whole thing about fucking no buying stuff. Just get in the shed and make it.
Yeah.
And then everybody thinks a different way. So if you make it, it's not got to be like anybody else's. Like
that's exactly right.
Silhouette, I call it, like.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you might seem like a fucking weirdo, but sometimes if you sit in your shop at night and turn the lights off, now this seems weird, But if
He tells me this, but he's usually doesn't have clothes on when he's doing it either.
Now, if you turn the lights off and basically put a torch at the back of your car, I half shut my eyes sometimes so you get the silhouette of a car. I've seen cars that have had a lot of money spent on them, but there's something not right about them because the silhouette's not right. If you can get the silhouette looking exactly right,
Yeah.
the rest of the car will build it. You can't fail to get the rest of the car wrong. Like
Yeah, I think even after building the Midnight Special, if I were to do it again, I would change so much. Yeah,
you
for
would
sure.
like, do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and that, I mean, you know,
That's part of the fun, though.
exactly. Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it just forever evolves. And speaking of evolving, and 2.0s, what we could call it. Should we just plug it in?
So he's just
George.
You big clumsy bastard. Hold on, I'll chuck some tape on it, Ben.
Yeah. So this is the new and improved, the forever evolve.
Really? Well, after gone to Saltbush, I think you can go on faster at Saltbush, I reckon. Like,
What is Saltbush for those who don't know?
Oh, for me, Saltbush is fucking heaven for me. Like, never met them before, and the very first time we went into the track, the first time he comes out with the handmade scones with cream on the top, I was like, fuck, this is it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I went down, had the best time ever, been 2 or 3 times now, and I just want to go on faster. And I got a shot of Les Moran's flathead V8, so Model A chassis with the flathead V8. And even though the 4-banger's really good, I just want a V8. I do, man.
You just want to try and keep up to the race car. Then it'd be a fun match.
It's actually quite embarrassing how slow Jordan's is. When he edits his thing, he makes it look super fast. But because I wanted to make the suspension totally adjustable for the speedway, you kind of can't do that with standard chassis setup. So I get carried away sometimes. Like, I wanted to put ecliptics on the back, but they've got to be adjustable ecliptics for your cross weights. It's got a quick change in the back. So the original idea was to sit at the side of the drive shaft. It's an open drive shaft on this one, but to sit at the side. But because of 23 bodies that small, it's too compact. Like, it was getting too busy. So after a lot of studying, I noticed a lot of cars in the 50s, they're sitting in the centre, but the car will look great, but when you're sitting on top of the drive shaft, like, so which means your bodies are way up high, which looks shit, like. What they do is they run a quick change, which lowers it 100 mil. It lowers your drive shaft 100 mil, which gets your seat down 100 mil, which makes a massive difference, really, like, because you crown your seat forward, like. I want to visually base it on like a late 40s dirt car. I always think when somebody's building a car for dual purpose, you hit a give and take a wee bit. Do you get what I mean? But if you build it specifically just to race, then you can just go and balls it, like. But because Saltbush Speedway is a bit of a fucking outlaw track, you know, you can kind of, if it passes it and gives you the go ahead,
You're on the track.
you get to run like you can, which I really love that because it's mere grassroots.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just the social side of the whole speedway thing, but
Yeah.
because the Saltbush Speedway is like how it was back in the days when my dad would have raced, like.
Yeah.
You got to use your imagination a wee bit, like. But that's kind of how it's got to sit. The best thing to do is I just fucking get to fucking Bennett's Customs. And see, I'll pick it up in a week. Singing it. So, do you want to just give me the money for the coffee that I bought?
Yeah, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the sort of like a little series that we're gonna start to do. And you know, we kind of wanted to really start it off coming here and spending the morning with Wynn and you know, just looking at all the cool stuff he has and just speaking about what he's up to in his past and everything in between. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and let us know in the comments if you're gonna understand anything he was saying.
Shop Doug, everybody needs a shop Doug.
What? Shop
Everybody
Doug.
needs a shop Doug.
Yeah, like a guy named Doug.